Big Pharma-backed digital health platforms are soon going to be worth over $1.5 trillion. Today, nearly 500 million people already use wearables to improve their health, their recovery, and their performance. And yet, your health data still gets sold to companies that give you zero control and zero profit. Now that's all changing because Solana wearables like CUDIS are already turning your health into an asset, which shares the rewards with the end users. So to make sense of it all, I reached out to CUDIS to ask them how exactly Solana projects are taking on Big Pharma and why this might be the most important crypto use case for the next decade. Before we hear what the CEO Edison has to share, a very brief bit of context is needed here. CUDIS is a Solana-based wearable that pays users to get healthy. It starts with this sleek, smart ring and it tracks your stress, your sleep, and your movement. But the real power is what happens next. Because similar to Pulse, whose founder Nix we also interviewed not too long ago, CUDIS gives you ownership over that data. And this is critical because that data then becomes a digital asset, tokenized as an NFT, and it can be monetized within the CUDIS data hub. Now it's part of a larger ecosystem with a super app for AI-powered coaching, and a longevity hub of research, devs, and of course next-gen health protocols. The idea here is simple. It's to kickstart a new and more democratic health economy that actually rewards users more fairly than the existing competition, which is sometimes owned by Big Pharma. So Edison, thank you for being here, of course. I'm really excited to learn about the future of CUDIS and Solana wearables more generally. But just super quickly, let's go back in time for a second here. I want to ask you what the core vision behind CUDIS is and when and why did you decide to take on this huge healthcare and longevity sector?
So first, I want to thank Jack to having me here and super happy to sharing more things about CUDIS here. And I think the brief is very, very valuable because when we compare to the crypto industry with, healthcare and even longevity, we can see there's like a huge gap, right? And also it's a very sizable like market. And so back to 2003, we have the idea about building the CUDIS because we can see that crypto and the blockchain technology could be the new engine to unleash the power of the health data, right? We never owned the health data before, and now with the crypto and the blockchain technology, finally we can have a chance to own the health data. And everybody knows like health data is a huge industry with like $1 trillion of the market cap over there, right? And also we can see that could be the next driver for the crypto industry as a whole, and also could be the next driver for the Solana in the next decades. Yeah.
So you recently unveiled this roadmap that takes us all the way to 2027. And I want to ask what the sort of biggest milestones that you have in mind are going to be between now and 2027.
So I think there's 2 to 3 like big milestone that we can see in the future, in the next 2 to 3 years. First, definitely looking for sell, manufacture, and deliver mediums of wearables to the market. And now we so far sold and deliver like 15,000. There's 80 to 100x of the growth we can make in the next 3 years. And the second thing that we're super excited to launch the longevity hub in the next few weeks. We already like sharing this idea with a lot of the veterans in the longevity industry and also the doctors, scientists, researchers, and founders. And we have received like great interest and those, right? We already have like very active like community, and we believe they also want to try out something different, something new. So we think these two things are the mainly goals in the next 2 to 3 years that we want to build around.
So CUDIS also has this AI health coach, from what I understand, sort of personalized recommendations about health and longevity. It sounds pretty wild, but can you explain to me then how personalized is that process?
So when we first start building the whole things, we understand that back to the day, a lot of people are trying to seek for fitness advices and looking for a personal coach every day, right? And every session is pretty expensive. So we believe as the development of the AI technology in the past few years and also in the next few decades, it's going to bring us to another level. So there's a huge gap between experts of someone in the fitness and the beginner of someone in the health. And what we're trying to build here now is we try to build a AI coach agent cluster, and we can help everyone to have a really personalized AI coach and can help them to tap into their health data through us and provide the analysis and design the program, set up the goals for them and push them or say incentivize them to achieve all the goals that they would love to have in the future.
So then that reduces also the entry barrier as a relatively young company taking on this very old industry with companies that turn over billions of dollars every year. I guess using AI and the technology that's available makes it cheaper for you as a platform, as a longevity platform, to offer this advice. And I guess as long as it's sort of got the stamp of approval from medical experts, then people are willing to at least try it and see if it works for them.
Exactly. I totally agree. So based on the AI technology and also the crypto mechanism and also the blockchain technology, I think what we can provide to the people is something much more affordable and accessible. And you don't need to pay for like $100,000 for the longevity coach, which they assume they're the best, right? But actually, you can learn a lot of things from the book, and also the AI coach can deliver the message to you in a very user-friendly way through the CUDIS. So that's, we believe, is something that can make the longevity possible and accessible and affordable to everybody. Yeah.
I want to ask you about the people that have already ordered and are using the ring and testing the platform. Which part of the world are you getting most of your orders from? Is it mainly Western Europe, North America? Is it South Asia?
So top three country what we see: US, Japan, Korea, and fast followed by the Singapore, UK, and Southeast Asia. So what we can see is US, Japan, Korea users has more knowledge around health, fitness, and wellness, and also longevity. When we bring up about the longevity, the protocol, the longevity hub, and also curating the new longevity product program and services, and we can receive a lot of the feedback also from these top three community from our existing users. Yeah.
And if I was to sort of ask you to compare it to other longevity products out there, I know the Whoop, for example, marketed themselves as a product that elite athletes like and use and regularly get some benefit from. And so, yeah, well, what particular demographic is CUDIS working best with at the moment? Is it athletes? Is it professionals that want to recover faster? Is it people that are trying to balance, sports and professional life? Yeah, who are you polling highest with?
So demographically, we name more like a user as more like the young adults, right? So who are very self-conscious and would love to invest time, money into themselves, health, especially, and also want to balance the work life and fitness everything here. And they might not want to spending a lot of time in just one thing, but they would love to keep the things on track, right? So what we can see here is that there's a new group of the consumer, like not just a lot of brand named them after the young adults, right? And so you can see there's a lot of people, good body and shape, and they're not athletes. They're general consumer, but they actually invest a lot of time and efforts into themselves. So those are the customer like we mainly focus on.
Clear. So I'm going to take a slightly more pessimistic tone here because there is this sort of underlying tone that we might be entering a recession as a result of the tariff wars. People are saying, the bull market's over. And for anyone who's been long enough in crypto, it's always this inflection point that makes people think, am I going to stick around for another cycle? Am I really going to stay in this industry throughout the bear market? So assuming we do enter a bit of a bear market, what do you think is going to happen to products like CUDIS? Do you expect more traction or less traction in the next 4 years?
I can feel, because I was there since 2016, right? I have already witnessed I won't say everything, but at least already 2 to 3 cycles, right?
You've seen the ups and the downs, yeah.
Yes. So I'm gonna be here, for the rest of my life, I think. Yeah, because I think based on the all the new policy from the other all the countries around the world, we can see crypto is becoming mainstream, right? So it's not we never talk about Bitcoin goes to zero again, right? Never again. Right. We just talk about, Bitcoin price maybe goes down, but back to 8 7 years ago, we still talk about around 2016, 17, we still talk about Bitcoin may goes to zero, right? So this is not going to be the question anymore. So what we can see that crypto right now is becoming a huge industry and it will grow bigger and bigger. And when it comes to the product like CUDIS around the health, fitness, wellness, general consumer lifestyle things, and also longevity, I think it's just get started, right? It's the beginning, right? And also for the next 4 years, what we can feel when the market goes to a little bit more quiet, calm, or even price goes down a little bit more, and when we goes into the bear market, I think everybody will feel like, oh, it's time to get back to the life. I can, there's no such crazy thing like last year or like 2023. I need to spending like 24 hours in front of my laptop and keep myself on track on every twist, right? We don't need to do that anymore, right? Because like everybody goes to like be calm and try to learn more, and if you make some money, people want to like invest back to their life and to their family and spending more time for themselves, right? Because if you are in the bear market, if you trade a lot, it only gets you to like waste of your time for most of the period of the trade you did, right? So what we can see is it's not going to be a bad thing for us, but overall we can see definitely the sentiment needs time to recover, right? But we can feel, as long as we insist on what we are building here and we keep doing what we are doing right now, it's going to be a great time for CUDIS to onboard more user and also promote our product and our visions. Yeah,
absolutely. Just while I have you, a final question here, Edison, do you have any hot takes for us that you want to share about healthcare, about longevity, about building good habits, maybe through the bear market? You touched on a few very interesting points there that certainly hit home. So any hot takes that you have about the industry or the next few years for us?
I would love to share something very simple. So I think everybody always focus on our physical body, right? Am I fat? Am I fit? How many protein I eat and everything. But there's actually not just physical body you need to take care of, also your mental health, right? So especially during this period of time, I would love to share something with your audience and also our community members that both your physical health and the mental health are very important. If you get into too big into your position of the trading, you think twice, right? And try to see, can you really take it like, don't put too much pressure on yourself, right? I think there's two ways like crush one man, physically crush or mentally crush. So either way that are gonna destroy you. So what we see here is that during this period of time, that not just our physical body we need to focus on, not just go out for gym and walk, at least do some running and do some walk or say work out a little bit more, but also at the same time try to read some book and relax and talk to your family and go out, hang out with your friends. I think that's also very important, because only if you have physical health and the mental health, you can make yourself very sustainable and also keep building on what you're chasing, right? So yeah, so that's some takeaway from me.
Absolutely. I think that's brilliant advice. Yeah, get out there, touch grass, get some vitamin D, get some fresh air, and be with the people that you haven't seen probably for the last 12 months because you've been too busy trading and refreshing your Twitter feed. Absolutely. That cuts home. That's definitely advice I will be taking on. Edison, I want to say thank you so much for making time to talk to us. I know it's a busy time for you right now. I'm under the impression that we'll be seeing you in Istanbul for Crossroads 2025. And I think there's an activation there with CUDIS. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you over there. Yeah.
Now, this vision comes at a time when interest in longevity is exploding thanks to figures like Brian Johnson, and the industry is projected to hit $1.6 trillion by the end of 2033. So I asked Edison why the team picked Solana, and the answer was glaringly obvious, because high-frequency, low-cost data needs a chain that can keep up. CUDIS supports integrations with over 70 data sources, and they plan to onboard over 600 million users through their partner apps and all the devices. So Solana is practically the only chain that makes this level of throughput and affordability possible, at least at the scale that's needed. All right, so we now know the vision, we understand the incentive structure, but what about the numbers? Well, CUDIS has already sold 15,000 smart rings in over 100 countries. We also just heard that, unsurprisingly, the bulk of their orders so far have come from the US, Japan, and Korea. These are all countries with a high affinity for tech and gadgets. We can certainly expect the number of CUDIS rings in circulation to increase dramatically over the coming years. And with OpenAI-backed WorldCoin initiatives and their CUDIS token set to launch later this year, we'll be keeping up to date with all the latest developments from CUDIS. I want to thank you for watching Solana Floor, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives from across the Solana ecosystem.